Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Ray. Got a video today from WNBA Pulse.
For between the WNBA owners and the WNBPA face to face just went down, and we do not have good news. I told you guys there either is a deal or there's no deal, and you got to move on. There's no more in between prancing around.
I mean, again, women, they don't want to settle. They want it all or nothing.
This thing, it's either you're in or you're out. We got to break this meeting down, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. As always, let's get into things. So the WNBPA and WNBA owners sat down today in New York City. And a lot of
the WNBA owners just slammed the door shut on a new CBA deal. In a tense 3-hour meeting in New York City, they flat out rejected player demands for a $10.5 million salary cap and 30% revenue sharing.
10.5 salary cap. What?
Making it unequivocally clear, we are not going into a $700 million hole for you. The room was thick with unspoken tension as the player delegation, led by Nneka Ogwumike, walked out, visibly upset and refusing to comment. This wasn't just a breakdown in negotiations, it was a detonation of the players' supposed united front. The shockwaves are already splitting the league's most powerful voices, igniting strike talks and exposing a deep, bitter divide within the ranks. The future of the WNBA just got thrown into chaos.
Owners, let it be known, we're not doing that $10.5 million cap thing y'all was talking about. Any offer y'all sent with those last two offers, y'all shouldn't have brought it in this meeting. We're not doing the $10.5 million salary cap. We're not doing the 30% revenue sharing. You wasted your time getting on a plane if that's what you showed up for. And now it's coming out that the players...
I mean, who has leverage? The owners that have been losing money for 30 years or the players that are getting paid quite decently, handsomely for whatever they're doing?
Are not on the same page. Some players want to strike Nafisa Collier because she wants Unrivaled to take over with her conflict of interest self. There are some players who want to take this deal because they can go sign for $400,000, $500,000. You think they are not in Unrivaled. They are not with pride.
The owners didn't just reject the deal. They tore it apart, piece by piece, right in front of the players. Any offers containing a $10.5 million salary cap or a 30% revenue sharing model were dismissed as a waste of time, outright stating, "Don't bring it in this meeting." They made their position ironclad. These non-negotiables were off the table. This wasn't a negotiation, it was a declaration. The message was loud and clear. The league's financial structure would not be bent to these specific player demands, regardless of how much time or effort went into drafting them. The players who flew to New York expecting a compromise were met with an unyielding wall.
Players are not...
I don't get why they think they even have any type of leverage to have any type of conversation about this stuff, right? There's no, oh, you know what? We brought in this much and now you're making so much more money. And no, we barely are making more money, but we're still in a deficit. What money are you talking about?
On the same page. Some players want to strike Nafisa Collier because she wants Unrivaled to take over with her conflict of interest self. There are some players who want to take this deal because they can go sign for $400,000, $500,000. You think they are not in Unrivaled. They are not with Project B. You think they want to pass up on $400,000, $500,000? Hell no. Let's get to what took place in this meeting here. Here it says, via Alexa Philippou, the WNBA and WNBPA met in New York City for about 3 hours today. The player delegation included Nneka Ogwumike, Alicia Clark.
Their uncompromising stance stemmed from a stark financial warning. The owners declared they would not, under any circumstances, plunge the league into a $700 million hole. This specific figure was presented as a critical line in the sand, directly linking it to the player's proposal. It painted a picture of potential financial ruin, framing their rejection not as a power play, but as a necessary defense of the league's solvency. For the owners, this wasn't about denying players fair compensation. It was about preventing an economic collapse, a narrative that instantly shifts the burden of responsibility and complicates any future discussion.
And it's clear because the WNBA owners already let it be known that we are not doing what you guys put on the table We are not going in a $700 million hole for you.
Can you imagine though, $700 million hole just to give these players that nobody wants to watch the salary they want? What?
Under no
Or
circumstances
all the things they want?
are we looking to go in a $700 million hole because you guys want to do this. And now it's coming out that it's very clear. Let me see this right here. That the players, you know, they was doing this whole we're on one front. You know, we're all agreed and we're all in for everything. We're on the same page. No,
But the biggest bombshell dropped, not from the owners, but from within the players' own camp. For months, the WNBA Players Association had projected an image of unwavering unity, a single powerful voice demanding change. Now that facade has crumbled, reports immediately surfaced revealing that the players are far from a cohesive unit. No, you're not on the same page. An internal voice seemed to scream. This internal discord is the true crisis, turning what should be a unified push for a better future into a fractured struggle where alliances are shifting and individual interests are beginning to outweigh collective goals.
same page. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And now it's coming out that the owners they stood their ground in this meeting, and the players are now divided. The players,
Like, we can just take this as a business model. Like, your employees want more money, but you don't make enough money. like as a business owner, I don't even make enough to pay you now. And you guys want more money? How am I supposed to get more money to pay you when I'm already in a deficit now?
players are divided. Here it says, ESPN sources say a strong debate has emerged within the 7-member executive committee, which the WNBPA player body authorized in December to call a strike when necessary. Now, some of these people don't want to go on strike. We know Nafisa Collier wants to, but I told you guys.
I'm sure there's plenty of players that can use the 80, 100,000 or how much ever they're getting paid because that's the only salaries they have.
There's a bunch of players who came out and said they don't.
The division runs deep, specifically on the critical issue of a strike. One faction of players, fueled by frustration and a desire for fundamental change, is pushing hard for a work stoppage. They see it as the ultimate leverage, the only way to force the owner's hand. However, a significant counter-movement has emerged. Many players are openly hesitant, even opposed to striking. The allure of immediate financial security, especially for those not earning top-tier salaries, is proving to be a powerful deterrent. This isn't just a strategic disagreement, it's an existential choice that could make or break individual careers.
Came out and said they don't want to strike. They want to play. They need to get this done. We heard Caitlin Clark say, y'all need to compromise and get this thing done.
Yep.
She was talking about on the player side, the players need to compromise and get a deal done and stop.
The financial stakes for individual players are incredibly high, creating a palpable tension within the locker rooms.
I mean, the most valuable player they have is telling them, settle, fix the issue, get paid.
For many, a strike means giving up immediate earnings of $400,000 to $500,000, a life-changing sum. These players, often without lucrative off-court endorsements or alternative income streams like Unrivaled or Project B contracts, view a strike as an unacceptable personal sacrifice. They need their WNBA money now, not a distant promise of a better deal. This stark reality fuels their reluctance, prioritizing present security over a potentially uncertain future, and exposing the economic disparities among the league's athletes.
They need to get this done. We heard Caitlin Clark say, y'all need to compromise and get this thing done. She was talking about on the player side, the players need to compromise and get a deal done and stop playing games. And now, here this says, according to multiple sources, one group says that now is the time to fundamentally alter the league's revenue sharing model, and players shouldn't compromise further until they feel comfortable with the new system. That is, so now you have the actual committee divided. The players and committee divided. Y'all lied. Y'all said y'all all was on the same page.
The player delegation present in New York City reflected this burgeoning tension. Nneka Ogwumike, Alicia Clark, Brianna Turner, and Stephanie Dosen were among those who sat across from the owners. Their faces told a story of disappointment, particularly Ogwumike, who emerged from the 3-hour session visibly distraught. These players, tasked with representing their peers, bore witness to the owner's uncompromising stance and the immediate internal fracturing it caused.
Like, when you just think about it, how many employees can actually go against their own employer? Like, to get more salary? Like, people strike all the time. Does it work? Sometimes.
Their presence underscored the gravity of the moment, yet their inability to secure a deal or even a positive outlook speaks volumes about the chasm that is open.
I mean, the deal that the owners are giving is, to me, is a very positive outlook already.
Divided. Y'all lied. Y'all said y'all all was on the same page. Y'all said that, oh, we got this under control. Oh, what? We will not effing move. In the words of Natasha Clark, we will not effing move. We will not effing move. Well, your ass about to get moved over. Another group says that though there are still some matters to be negotiated, the players have already gained significant ground and are closer to a deal and are less inclined to pursue a strike. So some players feel like, look, the WNBA has made adjustments for us. They've made changes to get a deal done.
I mean, we saw the list of, like, what, 37 things that they're getting. That's a lot of things. Like, that's worth a lot of money. Intangible money, but still a lot of money.
Nneka Ogwumike's silent exit spoke louder than any statement. As she left the meeting, reporters pressed for comments on the PA's way out, but she offered none. Her refusal to engage, combined with her evident frustration, became a stark symbol of the meeting's failure and the growing despair within the players' camp. When a key representative chooses silence over diplomacy, it signals a complete breakdown of communication and a deep sense of betrayal or defeat. Her uncharacteristic reticence solidified the narrative that things went dramatically wrong, far beyond a simple disagreement on terms. Intriguingly,
no, it's just the owners did not want to budge. They said, this is it. This is all you're getting. And then women have a way about their feelings.
Two prominent player voices, the Fiza Collier and Kelsey Plum, were absent due to unexpected travel issues on the East Coast. While their absence was attributed to weather, speculation immediately arose about its potential impact. Some observers suggested their non-attendance might have inadvertently prevented further emotional escalation, given their strong and sometimes undisciplined messaging in past situations. This raises uncomfortable questions about leadership dynamics, and whether certain personalities, however influential, might inadvertently complicate delicate negotiations, underscoring the pressure cooker environment surrounding these high-stakes discussions. The internal debate is so intense that ESPN sources confirmed a strong debate has erupted within the 7-member executive committee itself. This committee, previously authorized by the entire WNBA player body in December to call a strike if necessary, is now deeply divided. The very body entrusted with the power to initiate a work stop.
I mean, once you put money in front of people's faces, this is very hard for a lot of them to look away and stay on strike and not get paid.
Is fractured, creating an unprecedented leadership crisis. This isn't just player versus owner anymore, it's player versus player, a strategic
PvP.
Deadlock at the highest level of player representation that undermines any coherent path forward. One powerful faction within the executive committee firmly believes now is the critical moment to fundamentally reshape the league's entire revenue sharing model. They argue that players have compromised enough and should not concede further until a truly equitable and comfortable new
What profits do you make to be able to revenue share
system is established. This group champions a
Because again, women just look at what men have. Didn't see the just struggles and turmoil that all the men got when they were doing the NBA, and then now they're in the NBA. They're like, we just want all that. I want all of what he has right now.
maximalist approach, viewing the owner's rejection as an opportunity to push harder, even if it means resorting to a strike. For them, it's about setting a new, irreversible precedent for economic justice, regardless of the short-term sacrifices. Conversely, another strong contingent within the executive committee holds a dramatically different view. They contend that players have already secured significant ground through previous negotiations and are now closer to a deal than ever before. This group is far less inclined to pursue a strike, believing that further compromise is necessary to finalize an agreement and avoid disrupting the season. They prioritize the tangible gains already
I mean, they're already late on the season. They haven't even drafted or anything. It's already February.
made and the swift resolution of the CBA, fearing that an all-out strike could jeopardize momentum and alienate the very fans they aim to attract. This internal tug-of-war is heavily influenced by individual player economics. Athletes with lucrative external deals, such as those from Project B or unrivaled contracts, possess a greater financial cushion. They might be more willing to withstand a strike as their income isn't solely dependent on
That's what I said. Women's worst enemy is each other. Well, these women can withstand the strike because they have money. They don't care about the other women. They just want more money for themselves later.
WNBA paychecks. However, the vast majority of players lack such supplemental earnings, making the prospect of losing WNBA salaries a terrifying reality. This disparity in financial vulnerability directly fuels the division, pitting those with more to lose against those with less, creating resentment and distrust. Caitlin Clark's recent public comments now echo with unsettling prescience. She had openly called for compromise, specifically urging the players themselves to get this thing done and stop playing games. At the time, her words were interpreted as a general appeal for resolution, but in light of the current internal strife, they appear to have been a direct, albeit subtle, warning to her fellow players. Her insight into the need for internal flexibility within the player body stands in stark contrast to the rigid positions now emerging, highlighting the very issues she foresaw. The once vaunted one-front narrative, where players projected an image of absolute...
I didn't think they were going to be able to hold that front. I mean, look at 4B. Women were just like, oh, we're just going to not be with men. And then the next thing is, where are all the good men at?
Unity and agreement on all issues has spectacularly collapsed. The meeting with owners exposed this facade, revealing a deep-seated lack of consensus that was previously hidden. It's now
Women not agreeing with each other? Shocker.
Painfully clear that the declaration, "We are all agreed and we're all in for everything," was a dangerous overstatement. This fragmentation weakens the players' negotiating power immensely.
I don't even think they had like, come on. They had one person that brought in ratings and they thought they had enough negotiating power to be able to do what they want. Again, the owners are yielding a lot. The things that they're willing to give the players with all of this extra bonuses and stuff, the 37 items, it's worth a lot of money. And it's a lot of money that the league has to shell out when your guys aren't even making that much more money.
As owners can now exploit these internal fissures, knowing that a truly unified stance capable of executing a credible strike threat simply does not exist. The players' strategy to bypass League Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and meet directly with owners, including Adam Silver, appears to have backfired spectacularly. They believed removing the middleman would lead to a more sympathetic hearing, perhaps even assuming Silver would bend the knee and pressure owners to accept their terms. This expectation was rooted in a fundamental miscalculation of the owner's resolve and Silver's role. Instead of finding a more pliable audience, they encountered an even more unified and uncompromising front, shattering their hopes for a swift resolution. The owners, far from bending, stood their ground with unwavering resolve. Their refusal to budge on the core financial demands demonstrated a united front that surprised many, especially those players who anticipated a more conciliatory approach from Adam Silver. This firm stance has completely shifted the power dynamic, leaving the players reeling in their previous...
So they thought they can make Adam simp for them a little bit so they can get a better deal. Right.
Strategies obsolete. The message is unambiguous. The owners are not playing games. They are not going to be intimidated, and they are prepared to weather any storm to protect what they view as the league's financial integrity.
I mean, they've been losing money for the last 30 years. They're probably okay with another year or two.
The 3-hour meeting, which players themselves had aggressively lobbied for, concluded with an outcome far worse than mere stalemate. It produced no deal, no forward momentum, and instead exposed a raw, deepening chasm within the player ranks.
Yeah, the whole league going on strike and how they said they were so united on that front, I really didn't think it was the case. Because look at normal jobs. You look at any other industry, like any other careers, any other positions in life that go on strike, there's always going to be at least a decent amount of people that don't go on strike because they feel, you know, having everything run and everything going is better, even if they're getting paid less or whatever it is, right? Like, especially if a hospital goes on strike, there's still going to be some nurses there working. This is going to be the same thing in every type of strike scenario. It's very hard to have a very united front, especially when each player have their own personalities and their own wants and needs when it comes to money and status. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.